Welcome to another short training video on how you can use Contact Creator to upload data which you have on VID sheet from recent Doorstep campaign sessions back up into Contact Creator. This is a follow-up presentation to the video numbered CC001, which covered how to generate and download standard geographically based VID sheets for doorstep canvassing, and it uses the VID sheets with ID 1040880 which were downloaded in that video as an example to illustrate how voter responses can be uploaded. A further video will cover uploading voter responses using the Doorstep app on your smartphone. If you have any queries, please contact either Rob Burznieks or Ray Pettit. To begin, log into CC. You need to have standard user access and have selected the ward for which you have VID responses. I'm going to use a part of St Thomas ward which was downloaded as part of the training video CC001 as an example here. We'll have a look on the Enter Data page at what we do with our VID download sheets with the report ID 1040880 which was generated in CC001. The report number appears at the bottom of each VID and it was shown on the list in the Enter Data page. Highlight the 1040880 row entry here. If it's not shown on the list, you will have to probably enter a wider range in these date boxes. Then select Input Responses and it brings up a screen. Some of the entries are already completed, but you'll need to enter date, time of contact and method used to gather the data from the list offered, such as doorstep, telephone, etc. etc. Then select name of the street to load the list of electors to input the data from. We'll have a look at part of one road as an illustration. I'll choose St David's Road under the street box. This will show individual voters, but only their name and electoral number, which are already in the public domain. A table comes up like this, and you should check that this list corresponds with your printed list on the VID sheets. Each row is for one elector with 4 columns to enter the responses to the 4 questions we originally specified when we generated the VID sheet. You can change the number of voters shown on each page from the list in the drop-down box. I'll set this to 50. You can also select a page number in the bottom right-hand corner to browse and view more electors in the selected streets. I'll choose page 2. On this page you may notice some well-known names here amongst the electors list, but note that any previous contact responses for them, which you might expect, are not shown here, although they will be shown on your VID list. Data must be entered in the correct format. If you hover over the top of each question column, it brings up a list of the possible permissible single character party input codes to each question based on voters' responses. There's question 2. Question 4. There are quite a number of them, and it might be a good idea to have the list of these pre-printed for canvassers. Judith prints them on the back of the sheets, I believe. There's a short document listing these codes available on MembersNet. I'll bring it onto the screen briefly. You can see the codes here on the left-hand side. Now in this case, questions 1, 2 and have the full permissible range of voting responses in the list shown, but for target question 3, there are only 3 possible responses allowed. One advantage of the Doorstep app data entry, which we covered in another video, is that possible party support question responses are shown as icons, so you don't need to remember the precise entry codes like you do here, though it makes data entry easier and less prone to error if the correct codes are used on the sheets when recording responses. In addition to the standard input codes, there are 2 other important responses which are allowed for question 1. If there was no answer at the door, input a full stop for question 1 to indicate they were out. If someone answered the door but was unable to speak, e.g. inconvenient time, then input a comma in the question 1 column. These will result in correct contact statistics being maintained in the contact database. Only use the X response when an elector is unwilling to respond to questions. See the user guide Contact Creator, the Essentials, page 9, Data Entry User Tasks for more details. I can put a full stop for Roger and Sally Thomas just to show what happens. Now, having added the data in the 4 response columns for all the voters that you have responses, you would press Save on the left-hand side. Contract Creator will prompt you to automatically record those electors without either a comma or a VID question response to question 1 as not in. If you select No, Contract Creator will prompt you to return to the input screen to manually input commas for people who were in but unable to answer any questions, or full stops for people who were not in. Finally, Contract Creator will prompt you to save before switching street and display a Changes Saved Successfully message below the page menu, and the response data will be uploaded. I'll just exit the file without saving as I don't wish to add any data now, so I'll press Return. We are now back at the data entry screen, which is the end of this video.